Have you ever heard of the Federation for American Immigration Reform, also known as FAIR? It's okay if you haven't. Not a lot of people have, but I feel that they're a fairly important organization. According to them, they are a national, nonprofit, public interest membership organization sharing a common belief that immigration policies must be reformed to serve the national interest. They were founded in 1979, and they do a lot of interviews with media, all sorts of media, written media, the radio, television, and so they get a lot of, they try to get as much exposure as they can in order to get their views out there and give reasons so that the public can follow them and become members if they're interested. They do a lot of research and publications which are often used by government officials and by academic students in order to support their views also. One interesting fact about them is that they testified before Congress on immigration laws more than any other organization ever. Their main goal is to reduce immigration. Right now, immigration is at an all-time high. It's over 1 million a year, and they want it reduced to more traditional rates of around 300,000. And that number of over 1 million, that's only the legal immigrants. Illegal immigrants cause it to be even higher. Now, the biggest thing, which is what I'm mostly going to talk about, is what they call their 7 principles of true and comprehensive immigration reform. The first principle is to cut the numbers down. Like I said, cutting them from over a million a year, which is way too many, to down to 300,000 a year, is what their estimate would be for a good. Basically, it's balancing it with the migration of people going out to stabilize the population. And basically, any illegal immigration is not only unacceptable, it's disrespectful. Disrespectful to our nation because they're not following our nation's laws, and disrespectful to any citizen in it because we're here legally. They should at least try to get here legally, and if they can't, try again. The purpose of immigration has always been in the best interest of the nation, so why should we let it harm us now? The second principle is no amnesty, or as some people call it, mass guest worker programs. Now, amnesty was already tried in 1986, and it was a complete failure, and people still want to try it again. So I really don't get that. And basically, amnesty, it only weakens the respect for our nation's laws and borders. And redefining it as mass guest worker problem only, it's like sweeping it under the carpet. It's hiding the problem for what it really is. So they want to get rid of that. So that's another one of their main points. The third one is to protect the wages and standards of living of legal American citizens. Basically, the current way it is, employers seek the lowest wages, so people that are here illegally are going to work illegally. Now, this is one of my pay stubs. I'll show it to you after the speech. Basically, I pay taxes. I pay into the system. Whereas an immigrant might get paid under the table. Just a wad of cash, nothing taken out. But yet, they're going to get benefits from the system. Protection from the government. Everything. So, with the reform, if there would be any guest workers, it wouldn't be a mass program. It would be if the wages are so high that an employer can't afford it, then they would apply for a guest worker who would be chosen by the government. The fourth point is a major upgrade in interior enforcement led by strong employers' penalties, as they put it. Basically, employers know that they're employing illegal citizens, illegal workers, whatever you want to call them. And it's a magnet for more of them to come into the country. And they're competing for jobs at lower wages than Americans are willing to compete for, and working under the table so that they're able to do this. And basically what it's saying is employers must be fully punished. Right now, what happens, they get a slap on the wrist. It's not the way it should be. They should be completely punished. First time would be a warning and a heavy fine. Second time would be an even heavier fine, and basically the actual corporation, if it's a corporation, the corporate veil would be pierced, and the people who are actually responsible for it would be punished. And the third time, the entire corporation is shut down. Verification of employees would have to be mandatory to verify that they're legal workers. And for that, we would also need detention facilities, equipment, and staff to be enough to satisfy our needs. Also, there are special interest asylums where we would hold so-called refugees, but people are taking advantage of this and claiming that they're refugees, being persecuted, and finding a way into the country. Whereas, basically, the classic definition, this is an international definition defined by every other nation except us. This was used by any person who is unable or unwilling to return to or avail him or herself because of persecution or well-founded fear due to race, nationality, religion, politics, or a social group. Whereas we became a lot more lenient, and everything's getting filled up and overcrowded. The sixth is an immigration timeout. Basically, no immigration until we can decide on a full number. And the seventh and last principle is that all immigration would be equal under the law. There's one set limit, not as it used to be that so many from one country, so many from another. There's just one set limit. So it's completely equal for everybody. So you've heard about FAIR and their 7 principles of reform, which is basically what they believe in. So I hope you've learned something today and didn't mind hearing me up here. And that's it.